Wouldn't it be hilarious if we renamed CastleCon randomly the first annual Strawberry Film Festival inaugural event?
I think no matter what at CastleCon, you just have like the nighttime. One of the nighttime activities you can do is go to the Strawberry Film Festival.
I think so.
Yeah, you can just catch the strawberry movies.
Any and all strawberry themed movies a go.
They are a go. Maybe we'll poll the colonels and they'll determine what strawberry movie we should show.
Does it? How far? Like, could it just feature a strawberry blonde character? And like that's like it's kind of like it's very like loose. The terms on what qualifies for strawberry.
Surprisingly, the movie that keeps coming to my mind is Across the Universe, which is like the Beatles musical featuring the song "Strawberry Fields Forever."
Oh yeah,
so that's like one song near the end of the movie. Does that count?
I think that counts.
Okay, all right. There's a whole song about strawberry fields. Okay,
I think it counts. I think it counts. What's poppin', everybody? Hello and welcome to Popcorn Culture. My name is Ben Carlin and I am your host. Here with me today is my brother Jay, who will be in every episode.
That's right, the co-host of Popcorn Culture, here back from my life on the road, just ready to chat. Not super tired at all.
Your life on the road?
Life on the road, Ben. I've been traveling here. I went all the way to Charlottesville.
Wow.
And which, if you don't know, is like 2.5 hours away.
I quite literally went further for a day trip this past weekend.
Did you really?
This very past, yes. Whoa. I went to a resort to go downhill mountain biking.
I badly wanted to go to that. Instead, I was at our cousin's wedding.
Oh yes.
Well, also very fun. Congratulations to Mike and Griffey.
Actually, the photos looked incredible. Her dress was like dipped in pink, I believe.
It was hard to tell if it was a custom dye job. Bravo to whoever did it. Or I don't know if it was just made. Someone dyed it at some point.
No, I believe it was a custom dye job because my wife Alice works in the bridal industry, and I believe that our cousin, the woman that our cousin married, reached out to her and asked about this particular.
Oh, I see.
This particular thing. So Allie was explaining to me the process behind it. Maybe we will ask if it's okay to show a picture of it. Otherwise, if you can imagine, basically, it's kind of like it is like dropped into like pink dye on the bottom, and then it's almost like it like reached, like the pink dye like reaches its way up.
Right, like so it forms a nice gradient. It's like it sucked the pink higher than the liquid.
Possibly called ombre.
Ombre?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know? Are you thinking of like a chambray shirt?
Chambray feels denim.
Are you thinking like, who goes there, ombre?
Ombre?
Yeah.
It could be that. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'm pretty sure it's like a Western style, like.
Isn't that the cologne that Joey is marketing in Friends?
Is it?
Ombre.
Ombre. I think
maybe it's the rival cologne sales dude.
It could be. Ombre is it is Spanish for man.
Okay.
Right?
Man.
Hombre. Anyway, that was an unexpected tangent.
As they all are.
Well said.
Welcome to the pop.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this past weekend, I went downhill mountain biking, which plenty of people might be like, you guys have talked about mountain biking before. We know that you do this.
Yeah.
But this was very different. This was like going somewhere that had, in the winter, it is like a ski resort. So it has a ski lift that you can like walk up. You literally put your bikes into like a carrier that then takes it all the way up the mountain. At the top of the mountain, there's a guy who like takes it off of the carrier and puts it into like a rack for you, so that when you get up there, you just walk over and pick up your bike, and you spend the entire day just going downhill.
So much of the point of so much mountain biking, I think, for so many people is that they put up with the biking up the hill so they can go down the hill.
Yes, in the extreme irony, if you're not in the know when it comes to how mountain bikes are designed, because there's like a huge variety of like why you might have a particular bicycle.
Right.
So like you and I have like cross country bikes by design. Like they are meant for going out and going up, down, all around.
Yeah, they're very light, good for very long distances.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the ironic thing is that bikes that are like specially designed for like like bombing downhill. They are like super heavy, massive suspension front and back. Like they're like, you have as much squish as possible so that as you're like, going over rocks and jumps and stuff like that, you're just like,
it's like riding a beanbag.
It's like
your
riding,
favorite.
Yeah, don't even try that.
Love sack man over there. Yeah.
Don't even try it. Don't even. Okay. Anyway, I'm not even going to acknowledge that. Where am I going with this? You completely threw me off my groove. Yes. So the idea though is that like it's ironic that the bikes that are best suited for going downhill are the more well suited for that they are, the less well suited they are for going up it.
Oh, for sure.
And so this is like the prime locale to do that very thing, where you can have a bike that is very heavy because you don't ever have to ride it up a hill at all.
So did you bring your regular cross country bike or did you rent a bike?
I did. I brought my regular cross country bike.
Okay.
Yes, I sure did. Which did fine.
Okay.
Which did fine. This resort wasn't so massive that I was like entering into that next phase, unless I was doing like the black diamonds. So just like seeing, you have like green circles, blue squares, and black diamonds, and then double black diamonds.
Ooh.
And I will tell you what, man, I did do one black diamond on the day.
Yeah.
And I was petrified.
Really?
Yes. Like
interesting.
So unbelievably scared. Like recently here on the pop, I feel like I was talking about the difference between moments in my life when what I was experiencing was anxiety, but I would have chalked it up to just being nervous.
Yeah.
And this was the opposite. Like I hadn't dwelled on it. I hadn't been concerned about it. I wasn't like troubled by it. But then when I was doing it, I was going beyond nervous to just scared.
Just scared.
Just scared. Like, I mean, and it was funny. I was having like flashbacks, like the first time I ever got like pulled behind the boat for water skiing.
Yeah.
I was like, what happens if it just like rips my arms off or something? Like,
I just don't have arms.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Something might happen. I don't know what it is going to be, but it feels scary. But yeah, the way that it worked was they had like any of the other trails you would go on, they might have what is called a feature, and a feature might be like a deck that has been built that kind of like wibble wobbles through the trees, so you can sort of have like a really unique ride experience, or you can just bypass it entirely.
Right.
So you don't have to do it on anything below a black diamond, but on the blacks you have to do it.
Oh, there's no skip.
There's no skip.
There's no skip. You must tackle all features.
Yes, and on top of that, everything else, your brakes can be your best friend. So like, not that I would say that anybody could maybe come out and do this. Like I would recommend having done some amount of mountain biking prior, but for the most part, you could take just about anything at your own pace.
Right.
You can use the brakes to allow you to go slowly enough to where you can ride it in whatever way feels comfortable. Again, with the blacks, not the case at all.
Not the case.
This is like, if you use the brakes when you're not supposed to, you are not going to make it.
Right.
Like, it's like the way that this is designed is with enough distance between it that we're expecting you to be going this fast so that you clear this space.
Right.
And with that, it's like you really have to go against your own natural instincts when it comes to being nervous, because it's like the safer thing to do is to go fast.
This is one of the hardest things you have to retrain your brain with in mountain biking.
Yes.
I think almost all of the time, because even this sounds like maybe you had like jumps and gaps and stuff you had to go across at speed or else. Yeah. That's scary. But even on like more minor, I would say just technical obstacles on a trail, I think the experience has been like, oh, is there a log in there? Well, guess what? It might feel like you should slow down for that log, but sure enough, if you speed up, that is going to make it way easier.
Yes.
It goes against like your brain. You really have to retrain the brain, because your impulse is something's in the way, stop.
Yes.
And the mountain bikes are not designed to work that way.
Exactly.
They are designed to plow straight over something with, hopefully some technical assistance from you, the rider, but
Right. Yeah. Little bit of adaptation involved with like how you're maneuvering and reacting to each of those things, picking your line, so to speak.
Yes.
Actually, that's a really funny thing. So like when you're riding behind somebody, it can very frequently be a lot easier because you are relying on the line that they chose. Like, they made the choices of like, I'm going to miss this route and go over the rock instead of like going over the rock and missing the route.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you do this when you're mountain biking, but that very frequently happens to me. It's like I can let my brain kind of ease back a little bit. It's like I'm just going to follow them.
Oh, I absolutely do it, and I find it has been a extremely helpful thing in terms of overcoming this like the voice in my head, because like I will follow behind our buddy Steven a lot of times, sometimes while we're climbing, and it'll be great to watch him just like, you know, be going up the hill, and he'll just like see a route coming. He'll just go right around it, and then he'll go to the flat spot over here, and then up to this flat spot, or like definitely just choosing the easiest line up the hill.
Right.
And I'm like, that makes, like, to me, it's like, yes, it makes sense that you should take the easiest line up the hill. But I also can like hear this voice in the back of my head that's like shouting against that advice. Like, no, if you like, I'm like so glad I can watch Steven, because if not, I feel like the voice in the back of my head would be like, if you take the easy path, that's like cheating.
Ooh.
Like, you know, which is like it's sure you're getting up the hill, but it doesn't really count.
That is very interesting. I thought for sure what you were going to say is just the most direct route. Very frequently, it's probably the case that if you're doing lots of like small turns and maneuverings, you might technically be adding like distance to your climb,
right,
because you were zigzagging instead of going straight up.
Yeah.
But that is a kind of interesting way to look at it, is like the concern of like, I kind of cheated because I didn't hit the obstacles that were in the way.
I went around, but it's like, but that's so not true.
Right. Yeah.
It is like the correct way up is to have made it to the top.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, part of the skill, I would argue, is not hitting those things.
Exactly. And it's like, I hate that voice in my head. I feel like it has been there my whole life, to like, you're not doing it the toughest way or something. And it's like, it has been cathartic to like follow other people who I know are better at mountain biking than me and be like, look, they're doing it the way I want to let myself do it.
That is so very interesting.
Yeah.
I would be so curious as to like when this started, or how it became like, okay, so let me ask you this, because like one of the things that you did when we were kids that I remember you did it and I was like, I don't know who this guy is, my brother. Look at him go.
Okay.
We did Boy Scouts when we were kids for a period of time, and you were tapped into the Order of the Arrow.
Oh, the Order of the Arrow. Yes.
Yes, which I think involved like some type of experience where you like had to go out. What is it called?
An ordeal.
An ordeal.
Yes.
That's the exact word.
Yes.
A crucible, so to speak. And the ordeal was like, it was basically like, okay, we have identified you as like a member of the group that we believe who can come and like overcome this great big challenge. And by doing so, you will be like, I don't know, that much more capable in terms of facing adversity in the future.
Right.
Like it's almost by design a challenging experience to see if you can do it.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, the things involved with this were like, one of them was going out into the woods by yourself with like a tarp and like staying the night.
Yeah. So the Order of the Arrow, if you don't know, it's if you see the Boy Scouts, they have the white sash with a big red arrow on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you just encounter all sorts of Boy Scouts on your day-to-day
constantly
regimen. But if you're the way it works is, there's certain like larger Boy Scout camp jamboree type things where they will perform like the tapping out ceremony, and basically at those things, all of the members of your troop have to vote for, you can't vote for yourself. That's one of the things.
Okay.
So your peers have to vote to have you inducted in. So everyone writes down who they think should be in. And I think like 2 people from each troop or something go, or however many people. Maybe you just need a certain number of votes. I got selected. It was really cool. It was very fun.
Well, and the thing about this, so when you and I were both kids, we had like a I don't know, condition, genetic something. We had called pectus. Where we had kind of like the chest cavity thing that was kind of like a cereal bowl, if you can imagine that. Like, it was just like our chest was like dented in a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so I remember that when this happened, it was not terribly long after you had your surgery, where like a bar was actually like put in, kind of like braces for your chest.
Yeah, if you don't know about pectus surgery, I feel like to me it feels like probably every middle school ever has that like one kid in their grade who had it, and everyone sort of knows.
Yeah. And it's because it sort of comes up. Like I remember when I had mine, it was kind of this thing where you could like do like a yoga pose where you would like stretch this way, and there was like a cross piece that you could see.
You could see it. You could touch it.
You could touch it. And it was always, I mean, this sounds like kind of embarrassing now, but it felt like for sixth grade me, especially being like a brand new school, this was almost like a like party trick that I think people thought was like really interesting, and it was like a way for me to like have initial interactions with people.
Oh,
or
you're like,
something.
check it out. I'll go to a bar in
It's like,
Manchester.
do you want to? Do you want to touch?
It's weird.
Touch the man. It is weird.
It is weird. Is it? I could feel the scars right now. They're like still just sort of like numb.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah,
how
it's
mine
so
are
weird.
too. Yeah, it's like sometimes
Except
like
two little incisions right there.
right.
Yep.
Sometimes like Alice will like scratch my back or something, and she'll like go past it, and it's like I still have like weird like twinges, or sometimes I'll like sneeze and like I'll feel it.
Yes, it forever afterwards doing push-ups in particular was very difficult because it stretches exactly the wrong part of your body, exactly where the incisions are. Now it's not so much a problem, but there are times where sometimes I don't know what it is. It'll be like I get like a lung full of air in a weird spot or something, but there'll be like this pressure underneath one of my ribs, and I'll be like, that's a surgery pain.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder if it's just like scar tissue in there or something.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, I'm like, that's what it never started until that happened. And I'm pretty sure it must be related. And it's interesting to me though, because it's been like 15 years now since the surgery or something,
Even
if not longer.
Yeah, maybe 20.
Yeah. So it's like, now I'm like, is that actually still what it is? Or is this something else? But I'm like, I've always thought it was that. And I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
It would add up.
It would add up. It's always this pain has always been from that.
Yes,
but
yes.
now it's been so long. Could it still be from that? I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I'm like, then I have like, I always think it's like a very unique pain that probably I only experience this particular thing. So it's hard to describe to other people. It's probably from the surgery.
Right.
But maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea.
I think I actually can relate.
Okay, so you can.
Yeah.
So good. Okay.
You could have always asked me, but
Yeah.
whatever.
So you too get like a weird like underneath the ribs pressure sometimes.
Like a twingy.
Like a twin, like something like just like slipped a little too far and you just gotta like
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
well, look at this.
I've
Okay.
experienced that as well. For what it's worth, in case you guys don't know, the bar does come out.
It does come out.
We don't still have it.
Don't still have it in there.
Yeah, I was in there for like 2.5 years.
Like 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a huge sidestep, but the thing was when you get tapped out for the Order of the Arrow, the reason that I brought this up is this was another one of those moments for me as your younger brother who was like watching this particular thing happen where it is not intended to be in any way, shape, or form like an intimidating thing. It's like definitely an honor
Yeah.
to be tapped out. But I remember that they had somebody there who like would come up and they would like literally tap you on the chest. Like,
Yeah,
sort
they
of
make like a sort of thing on you. Yeah.
Right.
It's not hard.
No, I don't think it's not like supposed to hurt. It's not supposed to be like
Yeah.
anything like that. But I remember thinking like, because I didn't have mine yet, and I was like, oh my god, they don't know about the bar. Like,
Yeah. They're gonna hit him in the chest.
yes,
Bad news.
someone should have mentioned it.
Yeah.
So I felt that on your behalf anyway.
Oh.
So I think maybe it was fine.
I was totally fine. It was okay.
Okay.
The ordeal itself, yeah, that's a whole different experience. I remember, in case you're curious what it's like, we went up to Camp Powhatan here in Virginia.
Nice.
That's like just a big Boy Scout camp. And you basically go, you have a 24-hour vow of silence where you can't talk for 24 hours. That's part of it.
Even that, I was like, how could anyone do that?
How can anyone not talk for 24 hours? Unbelievable.
I know.
But then so you start with that, but then you promptly just get like marched off into the woods. And they say you like spend the night alone. But of course they've got like 200 kids there or something.
Sure.
So basically what you got is everyone's in a line, and like every 20 steps they'll just be like, the next person in line is like, you're over there.
Okay.
And they just send you off the trail like 20 feet, and it's like pitch black, and you have to you basically have a sleeping bag and a tarp, and you can just lay on that and survive the night.
Just sleep.
The thing is, you're alone in the woods without really a tent.
Yeah.
Or like a light. But it's already like 10 o'clock and you're exhausted anyway. So it really wasn't, that part wasn't very challenging at all.
Okay.
You wake up the next day. I think in the morning they gave us like, you don't get much food either. That's the other part of it. You got like a very small egg sandwich at the beginning of the day, and then I think like a cup of raisins at lunch or something very like meager. But the rest of the day you're having to do sort of like teamwork activities with other people, but the challenge is of course that you can't talk, which is
Right.
difficult. But also what you're doing is like setting up all the tents around the camp for like that people will then use as they attend the camp as regular Boy Scouts later, or you're doing just a lot of the manual labor around the camp, whether it's like digging ditches or whatever they need done, I suppose.
Sure.
But then at the end of the night, they, you can talk again, and they present you with your sash, and you get to go on, and then that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. But you got through it.
But I made through, yeah.
I mean, literally, the idea. One of the things I struggled with as a kid, for sure, for a long period of time, was making it through the sleepovers. I remember this was like, again, I don't think you ever struggled with this. It seemed I don't ever remember a time where it was like you went to a sleepover, and I woke up the next morning, you were already home, and it was like what happened? You were over there last night, But this was definitely something that happened to me for a while. Like I would always, like you would get to the point in the night where it was like, okay, like you guys go to bed or whatever, and I would like just start hearing noises, and I'm like in a different place, and I was just like, I would get so nervous, like I would call mom and she would get me.
Come get you. If it eases your mind at all, I know that I at least came home. I know for sure that at least happened to me once.
Oh, I feel so much better.
That I came home.
I feel like validated now. It's like, okay, it happened to Jay too.
Can I tell you one of my favorite sleepovers that I still remember?
Yeah, please do.
I will. So I think maybe this memory has been like triggered by the recent collecting of the Pokemon cards. And you'll see why as the story goes.
I'm anticipating it already.
Okay, so I had one of my buddies over for a sleepover, and as you guys know, having listened to the pop, our dad used to be a television, or still is, a television newscaster.
It's true.
Mark that on your bingo boards.
Right,
people.
right.
Which means that he typically got home, especially when we lived in Rocky Mount or Franklin County, because he would do the 11 o'clock news, which would go to like 11:30. That's to drive home. So we'd get home at like 12:30 or something at night.
Yeah.
So anyway, had a buddy over. We were still awake when Dad got home, which was, it was like, oh man, we're up real late if Dad's home. Just getting home. My goodness.
Yeah, you never experienced that.
You never experienced that. And I still remember this, but like he came in, he was like, what are you guys doing? I think we had some like Pokemon cards out, and he's like, get in the car. And I was like, okay, what's going on? And we got in the car, and he like drove us to Walmart and bought me like 2 starter decks of Pokemon cards like at 2 a.m.
No way.
I know. It came out, I was like, what just happened? This was amazing. This was what? Oh,
dad magic.
It was like total dad. I was like, I'm so doing this someday. I'm just going to be like, Luke, let's go.
Yes. I think that it's so interesting too, because like I think looking as I get closer and having witnessed you be a dad already, it is interesting to imagine like dad coming home and seeing that as like an opportunity,
right,
to like gift you that lifelong memory.
What was that his goal? I have never asked him about it or anything. I wonder if he even remembers it, but he definitely, because it was like a 40-minute drive, so he has just come home from a full day of work, driven 40 minutes. It's already like 1 a.m.
Right.
And then we're going to like get up and go to Walmart right now. Like, I think the Walmart was probably like another, 15 minutes away.
Sure.
Plus the purchase and coming back and stuff.
That's amazing, though.
I know.
I don't think I ever knew this story.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. That is
really
was
cool.
Dad was, he had a lot of little things like this, though, I felt like growing up, where we also were really big into Hot Wheels cars for like a very long period of time. And they're still in our parents' basement. Like they're like all in boards where we collected all the first editions, and they like go through, and certain cars had like wheel variations, and we have like the variations collected and all that type of stuff. So we were super into that. But I remember this was like another one of those things where like I guess Dad would pass, it must have been the Walmart on his way home.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he had like made friends with one of the...
No, it's the most dad thing ever.
It really is. It really is. He had made friends with one of the ladies who did the nighttime stocking routine. Yeah. And she had known him, from the news. But so I think that she was always like, hey, like I'm about to do the Hot Wheels. If you want to come take first pick out of the box, and so Dad would do that. And
right.
Frequently he would find, real cool stuff. And I don't think that this was like special treatment being applied to him for any reason other than the fact that he was there in the middle of the night. It was midnight. So when they do the store restocking, so I think it was good timing more than anything else. But very frequently we would come downstairs in the morning to like our cereal bowls, and we would each have like a car laid out before us, and it was pretty cool.
That was fun. We had to go like race them, see who's the fastest.
We were really big into that. He had this. Honestly, when I look back on it, I have to imagine that there's a more technologically advanced version of it now, but it worked well. It was like a little checkered flag piece of plastic that 2 of the Hot Wheels tracks like fed into, and as the cars would go down, whichever one got there first would like push a piece of plastic that would allow the checkered flag to fall right or left.
Right.
And so like in close calls, it would like help you determine like
which one came in first.
Yeah. And every once in a while there was like a tie and it would like pause for a second and like, and you're like,
no way.
We got to take it to the tape.
Yeah.
And then we
got to switch lanes.
Yeah. Got to switch lanes.
Do it again.
Yep. Oh man, it was so much fun.
There are more, I guess, technologically advanced. It's one of those where it's like that feels like they do make an updated version when the flag will fall the appropriate way.
Okay.
Based on like flipping a switch at the end, which I have noticed the switches are almost like too hard to press sometimes.
Oh, interesting.
Or like the cars will get down there and like maybe the first one's like running out of steam, so it'll like hit it and it'll sort of just like like it'll get stuck or not pass through or something. I'm like, maybe our tracks are too long. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
Jay, seriously, track design, man.
But
isn't this like a class dad's take?
Yeah, what?
Track design, hot rod track. Yeah, I mean,
it's just two tracks next to each other. They go to a straight line.
I mean, yeah, it seems simple enough, but it sounds like something's going wrong.
I don't know. Maybe these cars aren't for good. Luke has an absolute knack. Anytime we build any sort of fun track with like loop-de-loops or whoop-de-loops or whatever, we'll go to put him down. He has like his hand is like a magnet for the worst cars to do it. And he'll be like, "This is a good one," and I'll look at it and be like, "That one's not even going to make it to the bottom of a hill."
Right.
That one has plastic touching the track.
Right. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. It'll be like, "Let's see. Let's find out." And then it'll go down and be like, "Nope, that one didn't work." And
well, he'll learn.
It's okay. I mean, I let him try them all, but
that's smart.
Yeah,
he's experimenting.
Yeah.
But
figure it all out.
Let me back up. I have no idea what I said it in response to. Something about validation somewhere along the way, because I had an interesting conversation. It's kind of like let's jump back a few minutes ago, and then we'll segue off of that topic, even though we weren't perfectly on it. But I was talking to one of my friends the other day about philosophy. Go figure.
Yeah.
And I know.
Yeah.
And her take was that. When it comes down to anything in life, validation is like paramount. Mm-hmm. And so because we were kind of talking about dad, because at some point in time we said validation, I was like, okay, this is slightly interesting, I think, because when she said that, I was like, like I wonder how much that will hold up across the board if you were to like really apply your motivations for so many things. Mm-hmm. Like how much as you go through life, does anything that is motivating you correspond back to like making mom and dad proud? Like, is that like something that because it doesn't really feel like you could outgrow that.
Yeah, that is an interesting question. Of course, we also live in close proximity still.
That is
to
true.
Our parents.
That is true.
And even when we were in college, we're still not too far like geographically removed from them.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
but like
yeah, like
so. Do you mean by that like it's likely that we maybe wouldn't have outgrown it because we just remained so close to them? So like their input has remained to this day.
That is what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that that's fair enough. Like this is like one of those things. Like whenever I'm making like a big like financial decision, like mom is always like the person who I'm like, okay, mom, I need to know, like, are we good? Does this make sense?
Right.
And if she signs off on it, then it's like I have like complete confidence.
Right.
So no pressure, mom, but like I am taking your word as gospel.
Right.
But so I don't know. I thought it was interesting. It's like as you go. I mean, there's probably a meaning of life question somewhere in there, and I'll try not to make it that deep. But it's like how much of anything that you're doing, like by way of achievement, recognition. Like people who train for Olympics, like what is the value of like being the world's greatest downhill skier that year, or figure skater or whatever the case may be, swimmer or something. It's like, is that in some capacity the ultimate validation? Or similarly, is there some possibility that like the reason that we like admire celebrities is because there is the perception that they have unlimited validation, like by way of having become famous? It's like It's like people love you, and like it's like a known thing that people love you, and like
your cup must always be spilling over.
Exactly, it must spilling over with all that validation tea.
Right. As it were. I would suspect that's not always true, even for celebrities.
No, and I would very much. I would argue that it is likely more of a perception based thing that is the case than it is the actual reality for the individual who.
Right. But yeah, I think you might be right in like that might be the motivation behind why people want it.
Yes. Yeah. It's like I think that the belief would be that if you've made it center stage, if you're on like that red carpet, it's like you are in such a very specific moment, or what you're watching is just like, it's just oozing validation. It's like there are tons of people there crowding around themselves, attempting to take pictures of you. It's like, what does that say?
Right.
Yeah. But so, I mean, my question would be almost like, is part of the reason that we come to like respect these people so much, because what I think about very frequently is, let's use actors for example. Like, actors are like, they are still doing a profession of sorts.
Yeah.
It just happens to be a profession that puts them in a very public eye.
Right.
But like it's almost like that's more of a byproduct of their job. Like you tend to think of them as celebrities, but they may think of themselves as like actors. It's like in the same way that, Tom Brady is a football player or whatever. It's like you just know that guy just like, he loves playing the game. Like, he loves being out there. He loves playing the sport or whatever. And so in the same capacity that he is like an athlete who is, chasing what he does, it's odd to think about these people as like artists in that same capacity, maybe, where it's like what they're doing really, like, almost the fame is like in some cases could be like an unfortunate byproduct.
Yeah, I totally see what you're saying. Like, it's if you're, I would say that my bet is that if you're really only in it for the fame, chances are, I bet you're not always the best actor. Like, the people who are passionate about acting and like really like hone their craft are the ones who like rise to the top and actually get famous.
Sure. So there could be some want, like, the reason you might go out to LA and try to make it in the world is, in the world of cinema, that is because what you are chasing in some capacity is fame versus chasing the art. Right. And I have no idea if that's the case. Like, I haven't known that many individuals who have gone on this particular quest. Right. Nor have I interviewed them on their motivations. Right. But I do find it to be slightly interesting. Or alternatively, in that same sense, very frequently when you see actors receiving an award at like the Academy Awards or something, the idea that they feel like nervous on stage.
Oh, right. That does seem like it's a thing. Like, sometimes they'll be on stage just like they seem very nervous, and you're like, but you're an actor.
Right. Yeah,
you're like a performer. What are you nervous? You're nervous?
Yeah, you've been seen by millions and millions and millions of eyes. It's like, why would you be nervous in front of a group of people? But it is like, at the same rate, when they're acting, they're probably not always, especially for film, in front of gobs of people. Right. Like they're maybe not like the same thing as like a late night host or something who are performing in front of a crowd. Right. Yeah. So I don't know. This was like a string that I was pulling on, and once she brought it up, I was like, that is very interesting. Because I think that to this day, for me, I have just continued like the quest of like, maybe on some level, yeah, it's like that parental approval, like making my parents proud.
I think everyone always just wants to make their parents proud is my guess. Although you also mentioned like sports and like athletes and stuff. I would bet a lot of people's motivation is also like legacy. Yeah. Like, what is the true value in being like the fastest runner in the world? It's like probably that everyone will know that you will have made your mark. Then sort of like you will be remembered.
Yeah, and which is validation, right?
Which is valid. I guess that is. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think that would be like the argument is almost like what is legacy? It's like is the ultimate quest for history to...
It's planting a garden you'll never get to see.
Is that from Hamilton?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, wow, was that profound? Like, okay, so that does not count as Jay dropping a thought bomb, but it was so close.
So close.
I was like,
I should have rephrased.
I know. I was like, wow.
Sorry, you set it up. It was such a softball.
No. I appreciate it. I thought it was very well executed because it is almost exactly that. It's like I think Picasso was very famous for this, and that his artwork was not famous until after he had passed away, and that's like I think that's true. Sometimes I'm wrong, but that would be like such an interesting. It would be so odd to get through life and not knowing that you are going to be like a household name for what you did. Right. And you never knew it.
You never knew.
While you were alive.
Right. Like, and then you die and you're like, then of course you don't know.
And then you don't know.
As far as we know.
But maybe you do.
Maybe
exactly.
You do.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. Yeah. Maybe if it's anything like Coco, you get to that land and you've got like like real shiny ivory bones,
Right.
or something. And it's like
based
it's
upon how well you're remembered.
It's like what's up with this? Like nobody knew me.
Yeah, this is a surprise.
TBH, y'all. Was not expecting this.
Yeah.
It's like when you take a test and you think you failed it and they hand it back and it was like a 96 and you're like, okay.
I made a lot of good guesses.
I was lucky.
That I don't feel like that ever happened.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if I had to do some guessing, it was like if there was like 5 guesses, you get like 1. It wasn't like you never got lucky and got like all 5.
I know.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, multiple choice is way too effective.
Yeah.
At like
right.
You not just like
it gives you the illusion of chance, but if you don't know.
Do you want to know what was the most frustrating thing in the world to me is when teachers made it so that every single thing was false, or true.
Like it was actually just a mind game.
It was actually just a mind game. So like you're going through and you're like, no, that's false. False.
And you're like, I have put false way too many times in a row here.
It's like, I'm pretty sure this one's also true. Maybe I'll make up a little line there. It's like it could be a T or an F.
Right. It's like because I think when I would see those situations, I would often recognize that like, okay, the game is that it's all the same and that just do it. But then I would immediately be like, except there must unless the game is you think it's all but actually one.
This is the what is it? The Princess Bride? Is that the one where he does like the T and he like switches it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, gosh. The Princess Bride is one of those movies I can't say out loud that I haven't seen, but
you haven't
because
seen
I know you're not allowed to have not seen it.
Oh my gosh.
But
okay, well, let me paint you a word.
So no one heard that.
Let me paint you a word picture, if I will. So you have Wesley, I believe, maybe is his name. I don't know. I'm guessing. But let's say his name is Wesley.
Okay.
And he is like sort of like a knight pirate ninja man who can climb a very long rope.
Okay.
People who know what I'm talking about.
I know enough to know who you're talking about. He's like the guy who's got the black headband, right?
Yeah. Like I said, ninja pirate.
Yeah.
Secret agent type of guy.
Is this Ingo Montoya or whatever? I'm here to kill you. You killed my father. Something, I don't know.
Anyway.
I know a lot of the story. I know what you need to know.
Why did we choose this? Why did we choose?
Everyone's like, oh, this is bad.
I'm plowing forward.
Go ahead with your example.
Okay, so what he does though is they're up on top of this mountain, and what they've decided is that they're going to get into like a duel of wits, so to speak. And so the idea is that there's like poison in one of their goblets, and the idea is that like you turn around and it's like which goblet is which,
right?
And so like. There's one near Wesley, I believe, and one near the other guy who maybe voices Mr. Potato Head.
Okay.
Possibly.
All right.
Potato Head and Wesley.
You are crushing this.
I'm just firing shots into the dark.
Maybe it's Rex.
Oh, it is. I think maybe it is Rex.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me amend.
Okay.
It's Rex and Wesley.
Rex and Wes.
Rex and Wesley. And I think you're right now. And so the idea, though, is like, it's like which one has the poison in it? And he's like, aha, but see, you would put the poison in mine and not realize that I would be smart enough to pick yours unless you realized that I would be smart enough to pick yours where you would actually put the poison in mine. And so like he's like,
It's just reverse psychology over and over and over.
And over and over and over and over again. It's like, and so you go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and it's like, which one could it be? What would make the most sense? Like if you had the poison, which one would you put it in?
Oh, I'm sure there is like a mathematical answer to this or something.
I'm sure that there is kind of like the 3 doors thing, which I won't even try.
Don't you want to go down there?
I've gone too far as it is.
What movie is that?
21.
21?
I believe it's in 21.
Just 21.
Isn't it called 21, the counting cards thing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's in plenty of things too.
Yeah.
But I think that's Kevin Spacey as the teacher.
Yeah.
He's like doing the whole thing.
Thanks for the extra 30%, right? That's what he says.
Right, yeah. Look at us. We're nailing things.
Gosh, man, yeah.
Do you want to know what the real answer to the goblet thing is?
Yeah.
He trained himself to adapt to this particular poison, and he poisoned both of them. So he can just drink it and survive.
So he's cheating.
For sure. Absolutely.
Cheating is so often the real answer to winning.
He was immensely prepared for this very specific situation.
When you play tabletop games with people, which I know you are frequently doing,
no.
if you're ever engaged in games, what is your assumption that other people are cheating?
What is my assumption?
Yeah.
Or do I believe that other people are cheating?
Yeah.
Like
is that not the same question?
Percentage chance that someone else is cheating?
Yeah.
I never assume that anybody else is cheating.
Never assume anyone else is cheating.
Never.
Ever. Do you cheat?
No. Well, I used to in what was the game where you would play? It's a deck of cards game, and you'd be going around the circle, and everybody has like their hand of cards, and it's like, okay, so you're adding an order. So it's like you would say like, I have 1 6, and then you might say like, I have 2 7s, and then the next person might say, I have 3 8s, but they would put down 4 cards.
Right.
Oh, I think it's BS.
Is this BS? Yeah.
I believe it is, because then you would call BS on the person,
right?
And they like if they didn't do it, but
this is like the dice game. Yeah. Go ahead.
The dice game.
I think we play. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're not going to get into it. I'm not going to be able to remember.
Everybody is signing off at this point.
No, they got it. Liar's Dice. That's what it's called. We played it with Ross and Emily at Snowshoe. Anyway, everyone's like, who? What?
Okay, fine.
Okay, it's BS. I know the card game you're talking about.
Anyway, so that was one that went through. It was in vogue while I was in middle school.
Oh yeah,
especially in our band class, where you would have these days where, like, for whatever reason, Mrs. Wise, our teacher, was like, "We're not gonna do class today, so you guys just mingle amongst yourselves." And it was like, okay. I always wondered what was going on in her world that she was like, "We're not doing class."
So frequent. I had the same band teacher. So almost every single day of band class ended about 10 minutes before the bell.
Yeah.
And like, I think there was a certain amount of like, it's going to take everyone a few extra minutes to like pack up their instruments and stuff because you have like more equipment than usual, but certainly it wasn't like 10 minutes.
Yeah. And it's like, once you've packed up your trumpet like 50 times, you're probably pretty good at like, mouthpiece, hold, horn, here, all that.
Done.
All the rest. Anyway, so during this particular time in middle school, it was something where everybody probably had like a deck of cards in their backpack.
Yeah.
And so it was very common that you'd be playing like in homeroom or band class or over lunch or whatever the case may be. And so playing it so often, I absolutely got to the point with that where I would be lying and be like, like two threes, and I would be putting down 3 cards, none of which were 3s.
Well, that's the game, though.
It is the game.
Yeah.
It is the game. But the game would be like 2 of these, and the idea is that you put down 2 cards that were completely random. What I was doing is saying 2 cards and putting 3 down.
I think that's totally within the rules of the game.
The spirit of the game?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, in that case, then I wasn't cheating. I was just playing by the spirit of the game. But so in modern day, though, like if we were to have like friends over for dinner and we were going to be playing like a tabletop game, I would not assume that anybody is cheating.
Okay.
Do you cheat?
Oh, I mean, it's maybe along the same lines that you have just described.
Because to me, I could see you bluffing extremely hard.
Well, so, okay. Like, I'll give you a very light example. Are you familiar with the game Exploding Kittens?
Somewhat.
Okay.
I know that it exists.
Let me give everyone a hot tip on how to make sure you're winning at Exploding Kittens.
Okay.
Because it's mostly a game of chance. It's mostly just a game of hot potato. If you don't know how it's played, you basically, every turn you have to put down a card, or you have to draw a card.
Okay.
And if it's the Exploding Kitten, you lose.
Okay.
But you have lots of cards in your hand to make sure that the next card on the deck isn't going to be that. Whether you can look at it, maybe you can shuffle it, maybe you got to put a card in somewhere. But also, everyone starts with something called a diffuse card, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so if you happen to draw it, great news. You have the diffuse card. You play it. You're safe.
Okay.
That's good.
Thank goodness.
That's good, right? Every now and then, you have cards where you can steal stuff from other people's hands, though. So the real way to win is to get more than one diffuse card.
Ooh.
That's the real trick of it.
Okay.
So if you find yourself in that position, or here's the thing, you really don't want to lose your diffuse card ever. You don't want yours stolen because then you are really screwed.
Okay.
Right. So what you want to do is hold your whole hand of cards nice and wide so that you can put the diffuse card horizontally in front of the rest of the cards. So if people randomly choose a card from your hand, it's not one of the ones they can even see or pick.
What?
Look at this.
Look at this.
Look at this.
I don't know what to think. Mm-hmm. I'm befuddled.
Everyone, go take that to your next Exploding Kittens game. Never tell anyone.
I'm never playing with you again.
I know.
No
one ever wants to.
I'm going to say I want the horizontal one.
Yeah.
from now, I'll take the one that is horizontal.
It's like, this is the thing. This is the crazy thing. if you're gonna like play tricks like this, you can't ever tell anyone. So you're lucky. So I'm telling you, but we don't play very many games together.
True. You're safe.
I'm safe.
Knowing me, I'll forget.
You just forget. And this isn't cheating at all. It's just a very good, helpful tip for people playing Exploding Kittens, which is just the funnest game. It's a good warm up game. Is if you do have to use your diffuse card, you get to put the exploding cat back in the deck.
Okay.
Everyone freaks out because they're like, what you're tempted to do is make it, you can put it right back on top if you want.
So the very next person
has to deal with it. Or you can put it like 2 cards. You can count like, who do I want to target? Like 3 cards down, 4 cards down. Wrong answer. Always put it on the very bottom of the deck.
Oh.
Because then you know exactly where it is.
Okay.
And it gives you a lot more information going forward. Like if there's 2 cards left and you're like, what to do? Is this going to be it? Like, you don't have to spend your shuffle. You don't have to spend any cards because you know exactly where that card is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, this is the type of strategizing that just does not occur to me. Like, it doesn't come naturally to me. I don't think about it. And what I always come back to with it is that, like, I don't think I'm that determined to beat the people around me, or even for that matter, other people in general. Like, I just don't think when it comes to this particular thing that I feel like competitive. Like, I would almost feel bad for winning.
I do not feel bad for winning.
Like, I don't want to like make other people like feel like.
Well, let me tell you this, is that it is, maybe this is like my internal, like me seeking validation or like
it almost
something.
Certainly is.
Almost certainly is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Based on this conversation, it almost has to be.
It almost has to be.
Is that like by winning, that will prove like, look, that was great. This person wins a lot, or whatever. That like people will like you because you win. And despite this never being true throughout my entire life, it does not stop me from constantly wanting to win. Mostly what you're met with is you are just way too competitive.
Sure.
Which is, in my opinion, a way of a lot of people being sore losers. Oh, what?
Wow. Nobody ever play games with this guy. He's out for blood.
Not out for blood. It's just, this is the conversation. I can't even tell you how many times I've had it, and I don't understand. It's like we're playing the game for fun, right? And those are like, we're just playing for fun. It's just like, yeah, but you're like trying to win, right?
I think there's this would be my guess if I were to psychoanalyze you.
Yeah.
Is that the level of intensity that you bring is what you expect everybody else to be holding in their sleeping minds, as it were. It's like everybody else is like, oh yeah, I will do whatever it takes.
Not whatever it takes, because I'm not like
horizontal carding it.
Horizontal carding it. I mean, I do win.
See? I think point proven. So do you feel validated when you win?
I do, yeah, personally.
Yeah.
I feel great about myself.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
that being the case, then how do you think everybody else feels?
Business as usual, I suppose.
Consistently not validated.
No. I will say that I have told you my now horizontal card trick. You're welcome.
Thank you for that.
But one of the things I like when it like all these little tricks and stuff like this, I will also tell about all these things, because here's the thing: if you find yourself in my position, what will often start happening is that people will really not care who wins as long as it's not you.
I can see that.
Right.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do know that having played some amount of games with you, it does seem like the unfortunate byproduct of the fact that you are very good at them, everybody does target you as well.
Right. So that's the thing. So don't worry, I have a strategy for it. Is that I don't care. Is that if I'm not going to win, I just want Beth to win.
Oh, I see.
Right.
I see. So it becomes your second goal.
Right. New goal.
I do
Right.
appreciate that as a second goal. That's very thoughtful of you.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there you go. I'll take that. That's good. And I will say this: I stuff like that. I am so glad that I have kids that I can now like teach all of my little tricks to. Because at any given point, if I feel like I've had an advantage in a game, I'll be like, well, I'm not going to tell people the advantage. Like that's being kept close to the like, because then they could use it against me that it's not an advantage anymore. So. But don't you worry, Luke and Nick and Nate. I will help you every step of the way.
and your cousins are never going to want to play with you.
Nah, we'll see. We'll see. They'll have fun.
We'll see. Okay,
It's
so
gonna have fun.
well, let's change gears entirely.
Okay.
Did you realize how recently the last ice age was?
Wow. When you said entirely, you like meant it.
I did. I
mean,
don't.
yeah.
I don't play around when it comes to changing topics. Like if
Yeah.
I'm going to do it, I'm out for blood.
Full blood.
That's my version of you playing games. Is topic changing.
Topic changing. Ice Age. When how recently was the most recent Ice Age, Ben?
Well, it started 2.6 million years ago.
Okay,
to which I know you're like, okay, that's so far ago that it does, like things don't matter, right? It ended like 11,000 years ago.
Oh, okay. So yeah, if you want to say like we've been counting years for like 2,000 ish.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been around longer than that, but we only have as human beings recorded history for like 5,000 years.
Right.
So like you're really like you're not going that far back in history.
Right, like 6,000. It only took us like 6,000 years to get going, though.
Yeah, no,
Not that bad.
Look at us go. We're doing great. But the thing that really blew my mind about this is that there used to be a thing called giant sloths.
Yeah.
Giant land sloths.
Giant land sloths.
They were like the size of elephants, but they were sloths.
Okay.
And they were here recently.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like 11,000 years ago.
Did they roam? Were they in trees?
I think
as
they were
well?
in South America.
Okay.
Where there are trees.
Can you imagine elephant-sized creatures being into trees?
Dude.
Doesn't seem like being that big and being in trees lends itself nicely, unless trees were also extra big.
I mean, it's almost like there used to be a dinosaur-sized giant fluffy thing that's slow moving. Like that's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, like whenever we think about like giant creatures that have roamed the earth, you think of like big, scaly, like alligators, if you were to take the corner of them and drag and drop to much bigger sizes and proportions.
Yeah.
Or even the fact that we have elephants, which are quite large.
Yeah.
You know, but there was sloths.
Do you think you're like, whenever I think of dinosaurs, and maybe I'm just being like warped by like Jurassic Park or something, but I don't think so based on like, you know, what we've seen like the Natural History Museum. It just seems like there were a lot more really big things. Like, where is the lack of the return on the big things?
It's a very good question.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I was going to bring up that I have written down in our show notes here is basically talking about how long, and this is possible, like maybe from like an evolutionary standpoint, again, not an expert, let me make that very clear. There is like some potential that as time goes on, the biggest things continue to exist. So like from an evolutionary standpoint at that point, oops, someone was upset. Oops.
Oh.
Someone outside is upset. So anyway, but from an evolutionary standpoint, it could have been the case at that point in time that the biggest things just prevailed. And so literally what happened was, like, as time went on, if you were the biggest T-Rex, then you were the one that continued to move forward. And as time went on, they got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And similarly with like a Brontosaurus, which is like, you know, eats like vegetables, as it were. Tree vegetables, leaves.
Not like harvesting carrots or something.
They could be though,
maybe,
according to the good dinosaur.
Right. Agriculture.
Right. They figured it out.
Yeah.
But the idea there being like maybe if the like smaller ones throughout history were being picked off by larger predators, it was like, well, the only ones that can make it are the ones that are huge.
Right.
And so it's like you just had huger and huger and huger ones. But the reason I bring that up is because what I found to be incredibly interesting, did not realize this about dinosaurs, is that, okay, so us as the modern humans, we have basically been around for about 300,000 years.
Okay.
That's how long, and we've only had like written history, recorded history for about 5,000 of that.
Okay.
So like a snippet. But comparatively, dinosaurs ruled the earth for 165 million years.
It's a big lead.
550 times longer than humans have been around. So it's like when this is what I started realizing is like we are so like
we're just new.
We're new.
We're new. Look how much we've done.
Brand spanking new.
Dinosaurs didn't have iPads. They had 150 million years. What were they doing?
I know.
It's pretty embarrassing. They're just like, we put most of our effort into big.
Huge, I think.
Into huge.
We went all in on the huge thing.
We went all in on big.
Right.
We were like, hey, what if there's a meteor? They're like, well, seems like maybe if you're bigger. It wasn't. It didn't work out. Bad. It made good sense.
It made good sense. The huger you are, the more like the meteor you are.
Exactly.
You know, it's like you're simpatico, so to speak.
Well, I'm unimpressed with dinosaurs.
Well, there's that. But what's like just, I don't know. I was like in awe of the fact of like, and I've known this, you know, like I've known this.
Right. It's like somehow, but you haven't like considered it.
Right. Like when people deliver dates, like even when we were reading about like Socrates recently, who like lived in like the BC era, like 300 BC, somewhere in that range, you know, in my mind, it's like, that was so long ago.
So long.
And like some of the stuff he was coming up with, we're still talking about today. Like to me, it's like, wow. Like it's so impressive. Like how with so much less technology, how smart the observations of these people could still be at that point in time.
Yeah.
Like that blows my mind. But then I think the thing that also blows my mind is how long it took to get there, hundreds of thousands of years. And then the very brief period of time that we've been like even remotely like we are.
Yeah.
Even in the past 100 years, it feels like we've just like our technology
leaps and bounds
has shot straight through the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's a blink of an eye.
Blink of an eye.
Yeah. So I felt small.
My thought, so my guess on to why things aren't as big is because I think you're probably right about why stuff got big before. I think we're probably too smart for things. Like humans are, it's like what wins now is intelligence, not huge.
I think that there's probably something to be said for that, especially as like modern like hunting potentially was involved. Like maybe the huger you are, the more difficulter it is to be hidden.
Yeah, it's true.
Due to the
you're
hugeness.
more desirable as big.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe potentially that as well. But anyway, this all happened because this past weekend, Alice was out of town for her sister's bachelorette party. And so I was at the house by myself. And apparently this is the type of stuff I look up when I'm alone.
Oh, we had been alone.
Yes. It was like I was just going down the most unusual and obscure click hole imaginable. And it started with, I saw a TikTok about the giant land sloths. And I was like, hold up.
Wait, the what?
What?
Land sloths?
Which were absolutely spectacular, by the way.
Yeah.
If you want to look them
now,
up.
how big? Like you said, elephant size?
About elephant sized.
Big sloth.
It's a big sloth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have one at the London Natural History Museum.
Okay.
So we should go visit it sometime and put a GMA sticker, not on it, but near it.
But near it. Yeah.
Maybe potentially. Although
If someone's in London and they want to go put a GMA sticker near the giant land sloth,
I would appreciate it.
that'd be great.
It would be just very, very, very great.
Photos appreciated.
But so that was the thing that was going through my mind. Is I was like, okay, like it wasn't that long ago that they were here, and I think that part of what happened to them was like Ice Age related problems. Which I was like, wait a second, was the Ice Age that recently? Because I always thought it was like millions of years ago, and it turns out it's not millions of years ago. It was fairly recent.
Not even 1 million of years ago.
Not even 1 million of years ago.
Man.
Like it was as recently as like 20,000 years ago. Like parts of it were still going on. It's
Right.
like what?
Whew.
It's unbelievable.
We're just like barely out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just pulling up.
We're just like what a nice warm time we got here.
Yeah, except I'm not 100% sure that that's how it works. Like, for what it's worth, I don't think that the reason why things are warm right now is because we're coming out of an ice age. I'll make that clear.
Well, that's true.
I don't think the ice caps are melting because it's just us further progressing from the most recent ice age. But I did just think it was interesting.
It is, yeah, for sure.
It's so short in the scheme of things. So anyway, I was having some existential crisis. Basically, that's what it came down to.
Wait, what was like your crisis?
Just the smallness of it, the briefness of it.
The briefness of like humanity?
Of all humanity is so remarkably short.
Yeah. Why does it what is I still but like what about that makes it so like crisisy for you?
I don't know. It's like I thought bigger, and when I thought bigger, I realized how small I am. Is maybe like what came from it. I'm probably freaking a whole bunch of people out now. But I don't know. I think that that's maybe what it was. It's like as a kid growing up, things that felt big were, tens of years, hundreds of years, thousands of years. And it's almost like in the scheme of everything, like despite the fact that like I know when people talk about the history of the earth, they go into this like millions of years ago type of thing, billions of years ago.
Right.
It's like I know that on the whole, of course it's small, but I think what is just incredible to me is just to think about like how brief we've been technologically advanced to like record things that have been happening that we can still look at, like written language, that type of thing. And I don't know, maybe it's also interesting just to see how quickly we've like progressed in such a small chunk of time.
Right.
Like that's the other thing that's like really, really fascinating is like just to wonder what type of legacy humanity might leave, and if at any point in time like again millions of years ago, like there will be like a small little odd signifier in the giant timeline where it's like, oh yeah, this was the existence of humans.
Of the humans on the earth.
All right. It's like you can like see
Right.
it, like they realize.
So
they,
now
they
you're concerned about the validation of all humankind.
Yeah.
In the terms of galactic history.
Yep. Exactly. So it's like I need to know, like, are we good? I'm like, well, will galactic history remember us fondly?
Man, I don't know, but I don't know who the galactic historians are either.
Me either.
Yeah.
It seems like they have mighty helms.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. But that's my guess. I mean, maybe hugeness will come back,
Maybe.
and there'll be like 6 of them that all live on the planet. Like that's how huge they are.
That's just the whole planet.
Yeah, each one has their
real
own
big.
continent, and then there's one that's too cold.
Yeah. God, I got the raw end of this deal.
Yeah. Yo, I'm shivering over
It
here.
is cold. Yeah.
That's my expectation. So anyway, that's as far as I got.
So it would upset you if humans as a whole were not remembered.
Not that we weren't remembered. If we were remembered negatively,
I see. That seems unlikely, man. Now, come on.
it's like all right, like will the galactic entities look back and be like, this period, it was so short. Like, look, they're like a blip. We had dinosaurs, we had giant lizards for such a long period of time. Lizards/birds, I believe.
Yeah.
Were they? Isn't that right? But it's like, look at them. They existed. They got huge. They did things. They were here for so long. They did so well. And then these guys.
This to me seems like we could be like in between checkups. Like as far as the galactic historians are concerned, they're like, yeah, the last time we were at Earth, it's every time we've ever been, it's just been the giant lizards. Should we send someone back? They're gonna get back and be like, whoa.
Tell you what, guys, those giant lizards.
What happened on Earth? Well, the lizards are gone. The birds. It's all these like. They're I don't know. They walk on 2 limbs. They are just everywhere. They are everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
They build things.
They built. There is so much stuff. Like way more stuff. They have this. Big is out. Big is out.
Right.
But they don't get big. They make stuff big.
They're also still scratching their heads about the pyramids. Great idea, by the way.
Great idea. Yeah. Who put those there?
Galactic historians, obviously.
Galactic. That's what they're getting from the galactic historians.
What else?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we should probably move on because I feel like we've spent too much time here. My next question is.
Okay. Bring it on.
Let me crack my knuckles and change topics real quick. How come so many of the letters sound the same, but none of the numbers sound the same?
You mean like B, C, D, E?
Yes, I mean like B, C, D, E, G, P, T,
V, Z.
Z. Yeah, we got there. So it's like there's like all of these letters. It's like there were 2 teams once upon a time. The teams who were inventing the letters who did terribly, and the people who were inventing the numbers who did great.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that they they sound according to their nature in a degree.
Wow.
Like if you want a bunch of numbers, you need them to sound different because you're dealing with like quantities and like different like the point of numbers is not to be a spoken language.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, some would say like math is its own language, I'm sure.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is it's almost always felt to me like the people who invented the words for numbers were like much more aware of the potential danger of the confusion of 2 of them sounding the same.
Mm-hmm.
So like let's say it was like 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Right.
Did you spot the 2 that sounded similar?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
It would be a problem.
It would be a problem.
Yeah.
Did I do it right otherwise? Or did I say did I just include one word?
Who's to say?
Who is to say?
We'll know.
We'll know. The tape will show. But like, it would be like how many plates of bacon would you like? Was that 3 or free? It's like free. 3? Free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Frog?
Frog? Fraud. What a great commercial. 8 people got that reference.
I know what you mean. Whereas, yeah, you can have like instead you have like A like alpha, B like badger, C like they have to like when
Cat or mole.
Cat or mole. Yeah, they have to have like very specific words that would only start with that one letter.
Okay, now I need everybody to come up with really good alternate words for I guess the I don't even know what the
I think C is Charlie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But like, what are other words that would be better than the existing words for like Alpha, Beta, Charlie?
Okay.
All of those types of things. Is it Beta or is it Badger?
I don't know if it's Badger. I think it is Alpha.
Okay.
But
Alpha sounds right. But so
Yeah.
my question would be like, why don't we just use those words as the alphabet?
why don't we use
Yeah, literally, Jay, literally, say the word.
the word?
No, not the word. Like the collection of letters is
Oh,
referred
the alphabet?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And what is the first one?
A.
Which is
Oh, Alpha. Yeah.
Beta.
Yeah.
It's like alphabet is literally just saying it.
He's just getting very close.
Right. It's like they were like, well, we can't make the entire like all of the words. We can't put all of them. It can't be like one gigantic word, but we'll do like the first word
Start.
and like the like half of the second word.
Alphabet.
We'll call it the alphabet.
Yeah.
It's like, what comes after that though? Well, Charlie.
Yeah.
After that. Yeah. So anyway, that was my question because it's like now we have to have all these clarifiers so that people know.
Yeah.
And that seems confusing.
It does seem confusing, but I do you not think maybe you want the letters to kind of sound similar because it makes the language itself like more rhythmic or lends itself opportunity? I guess the letters can sound the way they sound without having names that sound the same though.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's not like you say like Buzz. Like you
Right.
wouldn't say like Buzzy. Maybe you would if you're saying Buzzy B as the one true
Yeah.
host of Popcorn Culture.
I mean,
but-
I guess a lot of letters sound, you pronounce the name is also the way they sound. Like Z.
this is the example I just gave.
Yeah.
But then you would have
D,
to-
you know, F.
F. F is good.
Yeah.
I will hand it to F.
Okay.
Like F, great word.
Foxtrot.
Yeah, right. Know that one because of Bloodhound Gang song.
Yes, that one. That is why I know that one.
Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. Anyway, so I just feel like there's no confusion when it comes to numbers. They all sound different in a great way. And then when it comes to letters, it's like we could have done better. And I think the fact that they call it the alphabet and it's alpha beta, if it is even beta as the second one, or they could have called it alpha badger, it's like today we're going to learn the alpha badger, which, oh man, that sounds real good.
The Alpha Badger.
I'm gonna start calling it the alpha badger.
Yeah, the Alpha Badger song.
The alpha badger song.
The Alpha Badger.
Which I think they changed. What a weird decision.
What? No, I think this is the thing. People think they can change the alphabet song, but they can't.
They can't.
You can say it doesn't make sense rhythmically. This is how it was supposed to sound, or we're changing the tune to be this, but it won't. You can't change it.
Well,
There's no changing the alphabet song.
It feels like the great big concern that everybody struggles with is LMNOP because people think that like I don't know if people think this, but there is the worry that someone might think that like LMNO is like a letter.
Boy, that just seems so easy to correct.
It does. It doesn't. And it doesn't feel like that many people are really struggling with it.
Maybe not. Yeah.
You never know. Anyway, before we close out for the day, how about a corny joke? Because I thought today's was really funny.
Fire away.
Okay, that sounded like Terry from
Far away.
Far Away.
Maybe I will.
What a great character. So good. And that's from Soul, in case anybody doesn't know. Okay, the corny joke today came from Nicole Lay, who says, if Annie is short for Anakin, then what is Luke short for?
A stormtrooper.
It is a stormtrooper. It's so good. I was like, wow.
That's
Love
good. That's
this
good.
one. Love this one. And then finally, because I think maybe we skipped fun fact about coyotes last week.
Can't have that.
I might have a small story off of this one.
Okay.
So this particular fun fact about coyotes comes from Colleen Gear, who says that you can buy coyote urine for $75.
Oh boy.
There's actually-
But is this to scare other things away?
That's exactly it. I
Okay.
thought I was I was excited to explain it to you. You can buy it at P-Mart.
Why is it called P-Mart? I mean, I can tell why. Is this a happy coincidence that this it's like pet mart or something, and this is the shorter that is all they sell P.
All I sell is P.
Oh my gosh.
Varying kinds of, yes, indeed. Actually, this is hilarious because there is a word that is the letter P, so we could leave that one. P is good.
P is there. P also makes its own sound.
Right, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're fine. But yeah. So what I was going to explain to you is that P-Mart has everything for all of your urine needs.
Oh.
All of your
Yeah, I got it.
I really wanted to use that pun.
Yeah, I could just force it right there.
I forced it.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, a good pun force is essential.
Yeah.
In fact, I feel like sometimes once people realize that you're punning, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make this happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna redirect the conversation. I will work in this pun.
I have one last thing to say about the Bachelorette last night.
Oh, it did start last night.
It did start last night, and for some reason, I don't know, the host this time is a woman person named Katie, and
the Bachelorette is Katie.
Wow, that was so much more eloquent. And she is like a very like fun, quirky girl. But it seemed like the guys were like, they were punning so hard.
They were.
I don't know if you noticed this.
I did notice it.
But it was like 7 or 8 different guys all like were dropping puns as like part of their like little intros.
Well, she had they were all themed the same way.
They were all themed
because I think of the way she entered the show.
Yes.
So I think maybe she was leading the charge on that one.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay. Well, I just thought it was hilarious. I was like, man, puns are in right now. Like pants that don't cover your ankles, right? No socks, and also
let me tell
puns.
you, I know I'm wearing joggers as I make this argument, but some of the guys' suits, I feel like I know the short pant suit is in now. You want like some ankle showing.
Sure.
No socks apparently.
Yeah.
This is the new look. I get it, but man, I felt like some guys were just like, they're just verging on. They're like up half calfing it, you know?
Yeah, I mean they're capri suits.
They're capri suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is not my style.
Brought to you by Capri Sun.
Yeah. I don't know if I was like, I think you've gone too far some here, my friends.
Interesting.
I don't know. Let me ask you this, Ben.
Okay, later.
You mentioned that Katie was hosting the show, but that's not really true because actually hosting the show is Tayshia and Caitlin, former Bachelorettes.
Yes.
But who do you think is the co-host of the show?
Oh, wow. What a question. I think it's you.
Of them?
No. I think it's you.
You think it's me?
I think that you are the co-host again.
Well, I would happily co-host that show with them.
There you go. Yeah, that'd be a hooting and hollering good time. Yeah. I don't know, honestly, between the two of them. I would say that Caitlin is the co-host.
Yeah, that feels right.
Okay.
Yeah.
If anybody else happened to watch, all 9 of you, let us know what you thought. Otherwise, I think it's a great place to stop for today.
I think so. We're there.
We're there. We've hit a lot of really solid topics today. We have questioned the alphabet, I think, very adequately.
The Alpha Badger. Yes.
The Alpha Badger, as we like to call it here at the Popcorn Culture, as well as discussed giant land sloths.
And how to win at exploding kittens.
Right. Look at us go.
Look at us. You're welcome.
Maybe we'll never do a summary again, but I kind of like this one.
Yeah.
Because then everybody gets to like relive the glory of today's
yeah.
show. Oh, yeah, that part. Oh, yeah, you guys did. You really changed topics hard today. Otherwise, if you guys have feedback for us, you can send that to popcornculturepod@gmail.com. We're also over on Reddit and Twitter, as well as Patreon, where we have a variety of different ways that you can get a little more popcorn culture action if you're into it.
Yeah. I want some more pop.
There you go. Otherwise, until next week.
Pop.